Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're throwing on our lab coats and our running shoes. We're going to dive into a scientific study that staged a fitness showdown to answer a huge question. Which type of interval training is the absolute king for boosting your endurance?
All right, let's just jump right in. This is like the question every single one of us who trains asks, right? How can I get the most bang for my buck in my workouts? We're all short on time. We all want to get fitter. We all want more endurance. So what's the most time-efficient way to actually do it?
Well, lucky for us, some scientists decided to find out. A really cool study did all the heavy lifting for us. They took 3 super popular high-intensity workout styles and basically threw them into a ring together for an 8-week head-to-head battle to see which one would come out on top. A true fitness championship.
Okay, so before we get to the workouts themselves, we need to talk about the grand prize. What are they all competing for? Well, it's all about something called VO2max.
So, what is VO2max? The easiest way to think about it is like the size of your body's engine. It's the maximum amount of oxygen you can use when you're going all out. And according to the study, it is the single most important factor for endurance. A bigger engine means more horsepower, right? You can go faster and you can last longer. So yeah, for this competition, a bigger VO2max is the gold medal.
And now, let's meet the contenders entering the ring. We've got 3 different training protocols. One is a classic from the world of high-intensity interval training. You know it as HIIT. And the other 2 are from the even more intense world of sprint interval training, or SIT.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting, because these workouts are so different. First up, we have our HIIT contender, 4x4. This means you're doing 4 long, hard, 4-minute intervals. Think of it like running up a really long, steep hill. It's tough. Then, in the middle, we have SIT 8x20. This is your classic Tabata-style, super frantic, 20-second all-out sprints with only 10 seconds of rest. It's just brutal. And our third contender, SIT 10x30. This one is pure explosion. 30-second sprints at an insane intensity, but you get a really long 3.5-minute break to recover. 3 totally different ways to train. All right, so the athletes trained 3 times a week for 8 solid weeks. And now it's time for the main event. We're going to find out which of these workouts was the best at building that big, powerful VO2max engine.
And the results are in. And honestly, it's a total knockout. The HIIT 4x4 protocol delivered a huge 6.5% boost in VO2max. That is almost double what the next best workout did. And get this, the most explosive, highest intensity workout, the SIT 10x30, it showed basically 0 improvement. Wow, that is not what you might expect.
Okay, a bigger engine is great. We love the science. But how does that actually translate to the real world? Like, does it make you faster? Well, the scientists tested that too. They had everyone run 2 races, a 3,000-meter run for endurance and a 300-meter all-out sprint. And no surprise here, for the long-distance run, the story was exactly the same. The HIIT group blew the others away, improving their 3,000-meter time by almost 6%. So yeah, that bigger engine they built in the lab, it made them way faster on the track. But wait a second, here comes the plot twist. When they looked at the 300-meter sprint, everything flipped on its head. Both of the SIT protocols, the sprint workouts, made people faster. The Tabata-style one was the best. And our endurance champ, HIIT, it did absolutely nothing for their sprint speed. Nothing. So what we have here is a split decision, right? HIIT is the undisputed king of endurance, but SIT totally dominates the sprint. And this brings us to the most important question of all. Why? What is going on under the hood that causes these totally different results? All right, let's pop the hood. Let's dig into the science here. What was HIIT's secret weapon? Why was it so much better at building that big endurance engine?
The scientists figured it out, and honestly, this is a real game changer. They concluded that it's not just about intensity in general, it's about aerobic intensity. Specifically, it's about the total time you spend at or above 90% of your VO2max. So it's not about how hard you go for a few seconds, it's about how long you can keep your body's oxygen system stressed out near its limit.
This right here, this is the secret sauce. You can think of it as your time on target. It's the amount of time you're actually giving your heart and lungs the right kind of workout to grow stronger. If you want to build a bigger engine, you got to spend quality time pushing it close to the red line.
So let's look at the numbers. How much of this critical time on target did each workout actually deliver? This is where it all starts to make sense. First up, our endurance champion, the HIIT workout.
It delivered an incredible 7 minutes in that key zone. See, those long 4-minute intervals were perfect for letting the body's oxygen systems get revved up and stay there. Now, what about the Tabata-style workout? Even though it feels unbelievably hard, it only gave people about 1.5 minutes of that good stuff. The sprints are just too short for your oxygen system to really get going. And then, the real shocker, the other sprint workout, the one with the long rests, it accumulated exactly 0 time in that vital zone. Your body would start to ramp up during the sprint, but then that super long recovery period let it cool right back down. It never got the signal to adapt.
And this really gets to the heart of it. There are 2 different kinds of intensity, and we need to know the difference. You've got aerobic intensity, which is what HIIT is all about. It's about stressing your oxygen system over time. That's what builds endurance. And then you have absolute intensity, which is what SIT is all about. That's about pure, raw, muscular effort. And that's what builds sprint power.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you? How can we take all this science and turn it into a super simple guide for your own training?
Well, here's your cheat sheet. It's actually pretty simple. If your main goal is endurance, you want to run a faster 5K, you want to build that VO2max engine, then a HIIT workout like the 4x4 is, without a doubt, your champion. But if your goal is all about raw, explosive speed for short sprints, then you want to go with the SIT protocol like the 8x20.
So let's just nail down the key takeaways one last time. For endurance, it's all about getting more time under high aerobic stress. That's the secret sauce. For sprint speed, it's all about absolute maximum intensity. The biggest lesson here? You have to match your training style to your specific goal.
You know, this study is so great because it doesn't just tell us which workout won, it gives us the blueprint for why it won. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. It shows that training isn't just about going hard, it's about going smart. So take a look at your own goals and ask yourself, are you really using the right tool for the job?